Hi everyone, this is Katie with Hi Ho Vacations and DDR Disney Done Right. This is my very first YouTube video, and I'm going to share with you the top 5 reasons that you should consider visiting Costa Rica with Adventures by Disney. Let's get started. Number 5, the accommodations. The Adventures by Disney trip in Costa Rica visits 3 different hotels. The first one is in San Jose, and it's a Marriott property, and you only stay there one night on the current itinerary. It's gorgeous. It's located on a coffee plantation. The food, the staff, the accommodations, the rooms are gorgeous. That's the first room that you see in the photo here. Then you move to the second resort, which is also a luxury resort. This is the Kioro Spa at the Arenal Volcano location, and the photo that you see there actually looks just like the room that I stayed in. This is a king bedded room, and there is a hot tub in every room. Some rooms do have 2 queens, and all of the rooms do have an additional double bed as well if you have a child staying with you. Outside of that window is the Arenal Volcano, and it is spectacular. I have a photo I'm going to share with you in a few minutes so you can see what that looks like. But this resort was gorgeous. Hot springs, spa, just everything super luxurious. The food was good. The staff was fantastic. Really loved our time there. The bottom resort that you see in your photo here, this was the 3rd resort we stayed in, and this is the most luxurious of all of the resorts on the Costa Rican tour. This was also a Marriott property in the Autograph Collection, and that's in Guanacaste. This is located in right on the beach, and so our excursion picked up right from the resort, which was amazing. Really no reason to leave the resort there. It's a little bit far from the towns, but very close to the Liberia airport. So when it's time to depart, you're very close by right there. These rooms had a suite that you don't see in the photo. Our room was a king bed, so we had a couch with a hammock, which was great and super fun. And then also the main room, huge closet area, huge bathroom area, gorgeous shower, and just really spectacular all the way around. The grounds were fantastic. Most of the meals are included on the Adventures by Disney trips. I think we paid for our food on our arrival night, and then also we paid for one meal in town when we visited. After we ziplined, we had lunch in town one day. But other than that, all of the meals are included. Some of them are scheduled like a buffet with the whole group. Some of them you choose your time and you can eat just with your traveling party, or you can have a group of people, that you've met with your group, with the larger group. You can choose who to sit with and make reservations with them. We chose to do that a couple nights as well. But overall, food was fantastic as well. All right, number 4, adventure. This tour was way outside my comfort zone. I am more of a museums and castles and cathedral visiting kind of person. So this adventure really stretched sort of what I was willing to do, and it was amazing. I'm so glad I did it. I never felt unsafe. That's the key here because of Disney. And we'll talk a little more about the Disney difference in a few minutes. But on this tour, things that are included are whitewater rafting, zip lining, and a jungle cruise, a real life jungle cruise. So we got to see tons of animals. We got to go on these zip lines, 600 feet. Every single zip line was only about 30 to 60 seconds, but it was definitely intense. And then the whitewater rafting, it was controlled. You can see in the photos, there was a guide with us the whole time. All of these adventures that are a little more high adventure have a secondary option. So if you're not really comfortable with the whitewater rafting, or if you have a family member that maybe shouldn't do that because of health reasons, there's a calmer option for all of the high adventure things. So on the whitewater rafting, you could choose to do a gentle river float. On the zip lining, you could choose to do a nature walk with one of the Adventures by Disney guides. This is one of the ways that Adventures by Disney steps above other tours because there are 2 guides. So in these circumstances, you do have a secondary option and someone to be with you. So you're not sitting back at the hotel by yourself. You're not missing out on the experience. You're just having a slightly different experience for that adventure for the day. fantastic all the way around. I would definitely recommend it. For a moment, I considered doing the nature walk instead of the zip line, but I'm so, so thankful that I did. It's definitely a bucket list experience. And like I said, I never felt unsafe. All right, number three, these animals were amazing. These are actually some of my photos or taken by some of the people that were with me. We saw three different types of monkeys. We saw this sloth. This is actually a photo that was taken on my tour, this sloth. And I know that some of you want to see sloths. He did not disappoint. He was very slow moving. He turned his head and looked at us a little bit, but sloths spend most of their time up in the treetops because that's where they are built to be. So their arms and legs and feet and hands, everything they need is up there. They do come down, I think, about once a week to use the bathroom. If we're going to put it that way, and then they go right back up into the tree. They don't need to have water because they get everything they need from the trees. This little guy was hanging out over the kind of street. It was sticking out over the street. And as we were driving through on our tour bus, our guide said, everybody has stopped looking up, so we think there's a sloth. Everybody who wants to see him, get out. And we all did, and we saw him. We had seen one previously, but he was too far away, and it just looked like a bundle of fur. So this guy was turned so we could actually see his face, which was amazing. The monkeys on the real life jungle cruise were jumping and chattering and just having a good old time. And so these are a couple samplings of the photos that we saw, but really we got to really experience their personalities and how they interact with their environment because they were so mobile as we toured on the jungle cruise through the down the river. And you see the toucan here. He was smaller than I expected. That picture's a little misleading because he's a little bit smaller than I thought. But this was at breakfast one morning. There were trees outside the window, and our adventure guides are always looking for unique things to point out to us, and the toucan was one of those. So we were able to see him right outside the Arenal volcano at the Kuro Resort. But a lot of the different birds were spectacular, and huge wingspans on some of them, and the guides are extremely educated on all of these animals. The local guide, Fico, he knew everything about all of these animals and could talk about where they're located, where they're from, their behavior patterns, really, really unique. Number two, and this is a huge one, the people. This is something that Disney absolutely does better than any other company. You guys know it because you've been on Disney Cruise Line, you've been to Disney World, you've seen the service that you get from Disney employees. This is one of those things that no other company can compete with. These two guides, Fico and Summer Rose, were super amazing. Everything we needed, they were right there. They had an answer, they could figure it out. There were several circumstances where they stepped up for us to take care of needs that were above and beyond. For example, my husband and I were hoping to have a massage at the last resort, and we were told, oh, no big deal, just wait. Well, when we got there, the resort was full, and the time spaces for the massages had been booked up. So I went to Summer Rose and I said, hey, Summer Rose, anything you can do? She made a couple calls and made it happen. We only had about a 4-hour window to have massages on that day, and she just made it work. Other things like that, we were asking questions about a particular type of fruit that we saw for sale on some of the side stands along the road as we were driving. So one day we got back on the bus after we had been in town, and they had purchased a sample of these fruits for everybody on the bus and showed us how to open them and how to eat them. And that was something that was above and beyond. It wasn't expected for the tour. It just happened. They celebrated birthdays. We did Disney trivia on the bus, and really overly cautious about safety and making sure that everybody was super comfortable. There was one area of the road that was kind of windy, and they were concerned about people who might be car sick. So they made sure all those people sat in the front of the bus, and I mean, really above and beyond across the board. The bottom picture here is our entire tour group. I was a little skeptical about this because previously I had only done a one-day Adventures by Disney sampler, and I didn't really get to know very many people who were traveling with us just because of the short time frame. I can tell you there were 37 people on our tour, and by the end of the week, I had either had lunch, dinner, breakfast, or sat on the bus and chatted with almost all of them. I now have about 28 new Facebook friends because a lot of the people who were with us were spouses and things like that. But these are other people who have a similar life experience to me. They have kids that are similar to mine, and we really made some great friends. We have plans to meet up when some people are in Indianapolis next time, and I know that if we ever fly to Texas, we'll find some friends there too. But these people are from all over the country, really a pleasant group of people, and everybody was kind of stretched out of their comfort zone on this group a little bit. But overall, it really was a great experience, and I'm so thankful to have met so many of this crew. On another note, we did notice that in a lot of the experiences, there are some tour hosts. Like at the Chocolate Rainforest, we had Chapo Guapo, and he was amazing. He was very entertaining. He was a storyteller, just like Disney hires. We had the same thing when we were on the Jungle Cruise with our driver's name, our captain, I guess, on our Jungle Cruise boat. His name was Mango. He was fantastic too, making sure everyone had a great view of all the animals, and we had the front row view. There were other boats on the river that day, but the boat that was the closest up to the animals was ours. That was consistently the message throughout the week, is that Adventures by Disney had access and preference wherever we went. We didn't wait for anything. So it really was a unique experience, and you could tell that the Disney name did get open doors that some other places maybe didn't. All right, number one, the Disney difference. This is something that I talk about all the time, and this really is why you choose Adventures by Disney versus just doing a tour on your own or doing excursions on your own. Main difference here. I have a list a mile long of all of the Disney differences, but these two photos really sum it up for me. First of all, you can see the two buses. So the bus on the larger bus was our tour bus. It had a bathroom, it had snacks and water and a cooler in the front. It had comfortable seats for everyone with footrests. It was air conditioned. It was really traveling in luxury. The smaller bus next to it was what the other tour group that was there at the same time that we was in. This was at the whitewater rafting place, and I know that there were other things too. After we got out of the water, they were standing there with us, waiting with us for us with towels, with plastic bags for our wet clothes, and with lunch waiting for us. That was not the experience the other tour groups had that day. They rolled in the bus, and they unloaded and were, geared up and headed out the door. But we were taking care of every step along the way, making sure that we had everything we needed. And those towels, like I said, they gave us towels to use, and then they collected them and washed them. We didn't have to do anything with that. But that is not the typical experience for everyone. They really think of everything. Another thing along those lines is gratuity is included for everyone except for your tour guides. From the people who manage your luggage to the people who manage your gratuity at restaurants for the different servers. Anything that's appropriate is handled. It was kind of a wake-up call when we got back to the airport in Liberia. The very first people who took our luggage, they were asking for gratuity, and we were kind of like shocked because we hadn't worried about that the entire week. So definitely a huge difference from what other people are experiencing in Costa Rica. On the other photo, you'll see the two catamarans, and then the boat. The top one, the large catamaran, is the boat that we were in. The boat in front of it with the orange and teal, that was the smaller boat that got us out to the catamaran. At the bottom, you can see another boat. That boat picked up the tour that went to the same beach that we went to a few minutes after we got on ours. So again, Disney difference, huge area of different experience. And so you can choose what you want to do. But in a foreign country, it really makes a difference to have the Disney name and options. I did include some photos of some of the different food options that I had. One of the best things about the food was that it really was a variety of, or a mixture of local favorites as well as comfortable favorites. We did have a couple kids on our tour, so they had chicken fingers, mac and cheese, hot dogs at a variety of places. However, we were able to eat fried plantains, rice and beans, some of the local stuff if we wanted to, and the food was just spectacular. I really had no complaints with anything that we ate. And in fact, we stopped at an ice cream shop called Pops, and I got a little monkey cone because I thought my youngest would think that was super cute. I hope you're considering a trip to Costa Rica or another Adventures by Disney trip. I know that any of the Adventures by Disney trips have the same quality of experience, and I'd love to tell you more. Get in touch with me. Katie at Hi Ho Vacations. You've got my number. And then join my group on Facebook, Disney Done Right, DDR. We would love to have you, and I'd love to share more about Adventures by Disney. There's no cost to work with me. My services are 100% free and 100% magical. I'll talk to you soon.